We're going to do the Kangan water demonstration, or Donna's going to do it. I've been drinking the water now for 10 years. We cook with it. We make coffee with it. We do everything with it at our house, and it really does taste different, and it makes a difference. But until you see the science behind it, you need to see that, and that's what Donna's going to show us tonight on why the water is, why it works, and why it's good for us. So without any further delay, I'll let you go ahead and get started.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Dr. Paul, for inviting me here to
You bet.
do this. And I'm pretty excited to show you all the different things about it, but I'm going to have to blaze through it really quickly because there's a lot of things to show you. So before we get into the demo, though, I'm going to tell a little bit of the history behind the water. So we'll see if we can make this work. Okay. So I don't know if any of you have heard of the miracle waters that they call, like around the world, like Lourdes, France, Tecate, Mexico, Germany, India. So they, the people that invented the Kangan water machine had discovered that all these waters had an abundance of active hydrogen, so that's known as alkaline water. People will line up for miles with their jugs, you know, out of those to get the water from those. So this is about 10 years old, this I guess, because we're celebrating today our 48th year in Agic. So it's a privately held company, and it is out of Japan. We are the original equipment manufacturer, which is a huge deal. Because I don't know if any of you have noticed the cars and things like that, how little parts that you can't get and everything. If you are not the original equipment manufacturer, you have to rely on other people for parts. So every single part in this machine is replaceable. So that's a huge deal now. Now we figured out what that really means. So, Enagic is a top leader in the industry and have a lot of endorsements and recognitions. I'm going to show you those in a little bit. And member of the Better Business Bureau, and we have offices around the United States. So here's some of the awards and documentation that they have. One of the coolest ones is right here. This certifies that it's a medical device in Japan. And the Water Quality Association, this is a big deal, that we got the seal tested and certified. That means everything that they say the machine does, it works. So that's that up close. So you are all used to seeing the SD501, but this is the equipment. We're going to talk about the top middle one, the SD501. That's the most popular unit that we have, flagship product. So what this machine does is it actually ionizes water. So it's the most effective way to ionize water. Electricity passes through the water, then the minerals are ionized and separated through the polarization. So the minerals in the water are actually separated. So the negatively charged minerals are part of the drinking water. So that's why if anybody ever says you're drinking negative water, well, that's the true fact. So the acidic water, the positive, goes down the drain. So this unit that we're talking about today has 7 plates. We do have one now that has 8 plates.
Platinum plates, right?
And platinum, yeah, titanium double coated with platinum.
Okay.
Those are the most expensive precious metals in the world. So that's a big deal that these units are made with that metal. Because some of them are mesh and things like that. We've taken apart different ionizers and see the insides of them and can't believe the difference in the way they're manufactured. So a lot of people try to do a knockoff lookalikes, try to ionize water. Well, some of the machines we took apart flat out had aluminum plates, So I would hate to be drinking anything that had aluminum plates in it. I don't cook with aluminum cookware either. So, but anyway, there is a difference in the way they are made. So, and with their regards to ionization, the rate of effectiveness, the length of time it remains separated, that's all determined by these plates and the separation that happens in the machine. So bigger really is better in this regard. So this goes into a little bit of detail scientifically of how it's done with the positive and the negative charges. And more plates is more chambers, and more chambers is a stronger electrical current passing through the water, so you get better ionization. So this machine actually makes 5 different kinds of water. And I know that's confusing to some people because they're like, well, I just wanted to drink some water, you know. So I'm going to go through these different waters that we have available in the machine. And as I was telling you, this is approved medical device by the Japanese Ministry of Health and Welfare. So those plates that we were talking about are over $1,000 just for the plates. So, and this is a self-cleaning system. It has, it will go into a cleaning mode and reverse itself and actually clean it too. So it's medically, it creates medically approved Kangan grade water, and that is, I'm going to tell you about that water in just a little bit. So anyway, the 3 properties of the Kangan water are the antioxidation, the microclustering, and the alkalinization. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one. So the antioxidation, as you all know, if you cut an apple in half, it's going to turn brown. Well, that's the oxidation, that's the air hitting the, but that's living tissue plus oxidation is sickness and aging. So we call this water antioxidation, anti-inflammatory, and anti-aging. So the more water you can drink, less inflammation for your body. So this is our CEO on the left, and then his business partner on the right. They actually went to school together. So if you were to guess our CEO's age, wouldn't you say that he looks a bit younger than his business partner? Well, his business advisor went to live in the United States, and we are a country that does a lot of acidic things. So Japan usually focuses more on the alkaline diet, alkaline water. So at the time he took this picture, we were celebrating his 75th birthday. So the second property of the water is the oxidation and reduction potential, so better known as the ORPs. So everything that we drink is pretty much on the positive side. If you take a look at that chart, bottled water, sports drinks, sodas, and tap water, they're all in the positive ORP, oxidation reduction. So they're actually oxidizing your body. So green tea is an antioxidant, everybody knows that. Vitamin C, cod liver oil, if you can take that every day, that will be a good oxidation reduction there. And then the Kangan water is negative 400 to, I've seen on my meters, negative 850. You know, it can go up to there on the antioxidation. So the microclustering, that is where there's 15 to 20 molecules per cluster in a regular water cluster, and 5 to 6 in the Kangan water. So that allows it better penetration and easier to get the water in your cells. So I've done this experiment too, where you take or drink a glass of the Kangan water and you try to slosh it around, you know, like you do regular water. You'll actually be able to move the water and hear it in your stomach. But with the Kangan water, after you drink it, about like 30 seconds, it's like all absorbed into your system, or you can't make that sloshing. So it's great for runners or people who are exercising or whatever, or want to hydrate quickly. Better absorption. So better absorption is going to mean your cells are cleaner. So anyway, that's an example of the clusters of water right there. And it's a general known fact that our bodies are 75% water, so it really makes a huge difference what kind of water you're putting in there. We can affect our diet a little bit by the foods that we eat, but a majority we can affect it with the water. And like I was saying about our diet before, pretty much everything that we eat and drink is acidic. So this is the alkalinity scale. So 7.7 is neutral. So when you go higher, 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, that's when you get the really purple. And when you go back down to the acidity, so we're going to, I'll bring that chart back up when we're doing the water demo. So this is a presentation that was done in 1990 at Dallas, Texas. Doctors came over from Japan and told what was happening when they were using the Kangan water. So I'm going to do these one at a time so they're easier to see. That other one just looks like a lot. So they've shown that declines in the blood sugar levels in diabetic patients, improvements in peripheral circulation in the hands and feet in diabetics, and declines in the uric acid level in patients with gout, improvements in the liver function, in liver disorders, improvements in the stomach ulcer and prevention of their reoccurrences, improvements in hypertension and hypotension, so that's high and low blood pressure, improvements in allergic disorders such as asthma, lots of things. Improvements in persistent diarrhea, which occur after the removal of the stomach, which is not a good thing to have. Quicker improvements in postoperative bowel paralysis. Improvements in the bilirubin levels in less jaundice. So this isn't, they're not making claims of this. They are just showing a report that was done in 1990, or what they were reporting on that they were finding. And this was with doctors all around the United States. We're at this symposium. And it's kind of funny because I never heard anything about the alkaline ionized water until I tried some myself. So this is not a very well published document. We have one of the most world-renowned doctors on our staff, and how many of you ever had a colonoscopy? Okay. That method, when they take off a polyp, is called the Shinya method, and that's after this doctor, Dr. Shinya. Okay. So he won't actually take any patients unless they agree to go on the Kangan water. So here's the reason why. Here's a picture before and after of using the Kangan water. The other one looks like a pretty bad drain. So nice healthy pink tissue after being on the water for 3 months. So this is an interesting slide. Did you know that when you're diagnosed with cancer, you're now worth a minimum of $300,000 to the cancer industry, and I'm sure it's more by now. There's been a lot of books written on, the alkalinity and how it helps with the body. Removing acidic waste is more effective than diet and exercise. So all these books are good ones to read. Well, that one's kind of scary, Alkalize or Die. So I'm gonna bring back up the chart here so we can see, we're gonna go through the different waters, and just show you what the, I have pH drops. This will show basically the colors like on the chart there. So this is natural spring water. This one's Evian. Evian's supposed to be a little more alkaline. And this one is the Best Choice Purified Drinking Water. Most of the time purified waters, and we'll see what color this one turns. Most of the time purified waters they do them with reverse osmosis. So when we bought our machine about 11 or 12 years ago, we had reverse osmosis. And my husband was getting worse and worse acid reflux. And, okay, that bottle is interesting. I'm going to lay it down just so it doesn't do a tumble on me. But anyway, he was going to go in for the scope test and everything, and because he was down to eating only oatmeal 3 times a day. That's how bad his reflux was. And so they were going to do that, and then we were introduced to the Kangan water. My mom said, well, just try this water. It's really, really good. And I'm like, seriously, we need to have the surgery, you know, is what they're saying. And so, but we decided to humor her and try it anyway. And so this gal that she knew brought over the water, and that's how we tried it. That's how we first tried the water. So anyway, after just a couple days, my husband was saying, there's something really different about this water. No, it feels really good. And so I was like, no, that's a placebo effect. I didn't actually want it to work because I knew what they cost. And so I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. So anyway, long story short, then he didn't have to go through with the surgery or anything. And now he can eat anything and everything he wants to, but the problem is you gotta hide the chocolate in the house, and people with acid reflux can't eat chocolate very well. So
I have to hide it in my house too.
Yeah.
For different reasons.
So anyway, it's interesting to see what color everything turns. So you can see with the white background on here. And this is the Kangan water that I have in the back here. So that's, as you can see, that's the darkest on the scale here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is interesting. I wanted to see what this one would be. The natural spring water is a little, a little more slightly alkaline. And so is the Evian.
Donna, can you lay down the tall bottles?
Okay.
Because we can't see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes, and we can see the colors then, if you can. Yeah.
Okay. So I thought I was doing a good job when I gave up all the Powerades, the soda,
Right.
because we were on soda all the time too before. And I thought, okay, the best thing to do is go to sparkling water. That would be the best for my system. 0 calories, always displays fruit on the front. So I think you're doing a good job. But look how acidic that is. Just the same thing as pop, sodas. Gatorade, Dasante. The reason why Dasante is acidic too, they use, the purification method they use is reverse osmosis. So when you use reverse osmosis, you're taking all the minerals out of the water. So if it makes a huge difference, then it'll create more acidity in your body because the minerals aren't there. So, but that's the Dasante. This one is the Smart Water. interesting thing. They started putting, because of the buzzwords and stuff, they started putting electrolytes. It says electrolytes added for taste. It's actually added for, so it doesn't acidify you too much. So what they do when they call electrolytes, that's like a bicarbonate, like baking soda. So when that's added, I have an older bottle of the Smart Water that they didn't do that in, and that will turn orange. So, but anyway, that kind of shows you the different levels. Now, let's say you decide to drink Kangan water and help your system out a little bit. Then you decide to drink a little pop too because you just want to. You're just used to it. So I'm going to drink a couple sips of the pop. And I totally wiped out my Kangan water. So let's start again. Make some more purple water in here again. Remember, these are the pH drops, so that's all I'm adding to the water to get it to show what it really is. So now I'm going to use that same liquid there, and I'm going to pour the Kangan water into there and see if I can change that. Nope. It takes 32 glasses of the Kangan water to overcome 1 glass of soda. So that's a huge difference. Okay, I'm going to make that purple again here. So now you can see the importance of drinking the water. It makes a huge difference. The ORPs, I'm going to show you in the interest of time. I'm going to show you on the chart what, remember the 3 properties of the water? The antioxidation is one of them. So 3 properties, so this one shows the meter of how, like a Sprite is a positive 322, Aquafina is a positive 225, in the Kangan water, negative 414 on that one. So it really makes a difference on, the body, or on your body. So so the antioxidation helps with the cells and everything. So the importance of drinking the water, but the main thing is getting it fresh, because the ORPs, that depletes in a day down to half. Then it depletes the next day another half, and the following day another half of that. So that's the value of having your machine and getting the water fresh out of the machine every day, because it makes a huge difference on that part of the Kangan water.
So what's ORP?
The oxidation reduction potential.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah, antioxidation properties of water, right?
Yeah. So to me, that's the big deal about the machine, because as you're seeing in the stores, they're putting bicarbonates, and you can put baking soda in your water, baking powder or whatever in your water, and get the pH to jump up, right? And they're doing that in the stores now. They're going by the buzzword, the higher pH water. You'll see it all over now. A lot of bottled waters, they don't have the antioxidation properties in there.
Nor do they cluster.
Or the microclustering, right? So in order to penetrate the cells and everything, it makes a huge difference. So That's the value of getting it fresh out of your machine, because that's stronger. So as you're filling up your water bottle, drink down a full glass, right away. And then you can fill your water bottle if you need to take it on the road or whatever. But that's the way you get the best value out of the water. I'm going to show you a few other things. Oopsie. Audio disabled. Let's try that. I'm going to show you a few other things that you can do with your machine. There's so many different things, and we don't have time to get into them all. But we use our water for everything. We use it to cook with, to clean with, just everything we can think of. There's a, actually I'll bring up okay. I'll bring up, I might do this later, bring up the display of how everything can be utilized, like the cleaning and everything like that with the water. So, okay. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, remember when I was telling you about the 5 different kinds of water? Well, one of the waters that is really cool is the 11.5 water. And we use that to clean all our fruits and vegetables. And I'll show you the reason why. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think that tomatoes are bitter, but it might just be because of the chemicals that are on them. All right, so I'm gonna put some 11.5 on this batch of tomatoes. And one thing I didn't test was the tap water. So I'm just gonna grab some tap water from back here and this is just the tap water. So we're going to let those soak a little bit. Just a couple, about a minute. Get all the stuff off. Usually people wash their fruits and vegetables under the tap water. So we'll see how that does in a minute. I'm going to tell you, while those are soaking, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the 2.5 water. And you can pass this around. And I'll show you, it's a little scary, it smells like chlorine, but I'll show you. I would not spray chlorine on my clothes. That would not be a good idea. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, does smell like it has a bit of
swimming pool.
Yep. Yep. So the advantage of the 2.5 water is it kills all germs. So germs live
basically.
2.5 or bacteria.
Yeah, I've smelled it.
2.5 or higher. So this water, being 2.5, will kill the germs. So I would rather have this on my hands as a sanitizer than the alcohol products that are out there sanitizing your hands, because that absorbs into your system. So our stomach acid is 2.5, right? Or lower even.
It's around that,
yeah. So
it could be 1.5 even.
But anyway, can you imagine all the uses for this? 2.5 water. So countertops, anything you want to disinfect. Okay, so now we're going to, now I just sanitize my hands, right? So if I use my fingers, that's okay. Okay.
That's acidic right there.
Those are the pesticides.
That's the pesticide.
Wow.
But toes.
It's all right.
So,
Clear.
which tomatoes would you rather have? Actually, I'm going to put that so I remember. Who wants to take a drink of this water? What?
Belly up to the bar.
That's what you're eating when you wash your tomatoes in tap water. So, let's first try these. Now, those are washed in Kangan water. So they're good.
Yeah.
They're all good. You can pass those around. And these are the ones.
Tomato fan.
You might be
Don't like
not
tomatoes.
be a tomato
Yeah.
fan because of the bitter.
Yeah,
No,
I'm not a tomato fan
it's,
either.
it's the chunkiness.
You
Oh,
want
the
some?
chunkiness.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I might. I'm busy.
Okay.
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 So, did anybody taste the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Is the other one bitter?
Mm,
Yeah. You're not getting your pesticides off the food and everything else they put on them. So even when they have organic, you kind of like to get everything off of the food. A lot of times they spray it, even if they're spraying it with an organic thing, they also, let's see, if they're spraying a waxy substance on it anyway, because to hold
Especially
it in.
on apples. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's a good thing to wash all your fruits and vegetables with 11.5. We even, to disinfect, we spray them with the 2.5 first, then do them with the 11.5 water. So everything that comes into our house gets those two kinds of waters.
So you were mentioning earlier that the water, that you were emphasizing the importance of fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So in these clean water solutions, do those deteriorate as well?
That's a great question. I always put them in a container like this, the 11.5 and the 2.5 water, because I make a large batch at a time and then I have it ready for my fruits and vegetables. So it's about 2 or 3 weeks it would last in there, but mine never lasts that long because I use it all the time. So I'm constantly changing it out.
So it's got to be in a black container?
Yeah, the reason why the black container,
Or dark.
darker,
Yeah.
it brings up a good point though on the water too. When you're taking the 9.5 water, you want to have that in darkness too, because the darkness protects the alkalinity of the water. So it's important to keep them in or the outer cupboard or in the cupboard or something like that, you know. Yeah, so
Donna, if you keep the Kangan water like in a glass container in the refrigerator, which is dark
It's dark
most of the time, it
most
should
of
be
the time.
okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm going to try this little experiment with the grapes too. Hopefully you like grapes.
I love grapes.
Yeah, I eat them a lot. That's a big bunch there.
Yeah, that is. I might have to cut that down a little bit.
Yeah.
I need a little bit in there though to make the point. Some grapes are worse than others too. You know?
There's differences. Yeah.
Depends on where you get them from.
Yep. Whether they're United States or
Right.
Mexican or Chile.
Exactly.
A lot of grapes come from Chile.
I don't know. Trying to get them exactly even is probably going to be hard, but
Looks good.
yeah. Can you do that really quick? Okay, so I'm going to give this one an advantage and do the tap water first. Need some more. Then we'll add the 11.5 water to this one. The nice thing is that the reason why 11.5 works so well is it emulsifies oil. So that's a huge thing because that oily substance on the fruits and vegetables. I'm going to get a little more tap water.
Most pesticides are oil-based, aren't they?
Yeah. I'll show you why. That was the water?
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Okay,
that's
thank
the
you.
one, yeah.
Thanks for keeping track.
Yeah,
Okay, so now I gotta do another experiment while that's soaking. Except I need my bottle of oil, which I thought I had my oil along with me. I was going to show you how it emulsifies the oil. Hidden in the back here. So do any of you cook with the sesame oil? This dark
I've
oil
never
is,
did it, yeah.
We do occasionally, yeah.
this dark oil is a little more showy than the other oil. So now I have to get the I'm going to give this one just the same advantage here. So we're going to put the oil in the cup first. Then we're going to add the tap water to this one.
oh, what's that?
Then we're going to add the Kangan water to this one. Oh, nope, 11.5. Tomorrow, that water will be even stronger. I just made this today. But look at how much it emulsified the oil. So you can see quite a
One's really
Quite a
cloudy.
difference.
Yeah,
So that's why,
big cloudy there.
that's why it works so well for your fruits and vegetables.
You know, Donna, I found that actually if you soak like fruits and vegetables, even in 9.5 long enough, you can get some emulsification.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do this little trick again here, and I'll probably spill more water. Okay, this is the common floor. And this is harder to see,
Mm-hmm.
but if I put it up against that, can you see it a little bit better?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah.
You can see a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But the fruits and vegetables taste so much different with the Kangan water. So I'm gonna pass this around for you. I'm gonna use this one. Dump more water in.
I have a question. Is it okay to soak your vegetables or your fruits in the sink in your kitchen, or do you really need to put them in a bowl like this?
I do in a bowl because I just keep rinsing them in the same water because I don't want to make a ton of the 11.5 water, you know, so.
Mm,
So you
Them are
keep
good.
using the same water.
mm.
Yeah, and then
Really
after my
brings out
whole
the
batch of
flavor.
grapes, then I throw it away
Mhm.
because it's gross after you get done with it. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Turn the alkaline water. Let's see. Let's use this.
You want some?
Thank you.
Okay, this one's the one that's all, just the tap water. I forgot to show you how the pH water would turn any of the things that are like non-acidic, like just, 7 point whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
it will go ahead and turn it. That must be the smart water.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't touch any of the acidic, highly acidic ones. So that's why it's really important to stay on this side of the scale. And could you guys taste the difference in the grapes?
Yeah.
So-
Definitely a difference.
Yeah. So everything tastes better. The cooking and everything is much better too. It brings out the flavor in food. So if you're cooking with the 9.5 water or the, you know, the alkaline
Eat
water,
the evidence.
that's a huge difference. So.
Smart.
Okay. So, let's see if this will respond.
I had a question. You had mentioned that if you slipped up and had some of the bad water or the sparkling water, that cancels out what you've been drinking that day. That's what I understood.
Yes, like the sparkling water, the soda, and the Powerade.
So what do you do if you go out somewhere and, I mean,
That's a good question. So,
you want to cancel out everything that you've done for
Right.
a week?
right. So,
And how long does that cancel?
There's a
Is
few
you
things-
start over again the next day, or?
no, yeah, 2 days is usually what they say here. So, there are things that are a little more on the alkaline side. If you're talking about cocktails and stuff like that, like the vodkas and stuff like that are a little more alkaline. Tequila, those kind of things. So, but fruit juices are a better option to add with them than the sodas. If you totally want to get rid of soda, or you know, the acidity and stuff.
I had trouble there. I drink a lot of that sparkling flavored water. I need to stop
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Because no one knows that is
I need
has
to
that in
stop
it. That is about the same
Yeah,
thing.
that's
What
been
about
tested for years, yeah.
And coffee is slightly acidic too, but what they say to do is make use your Kangan water to make the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And it tastes so much better.
Yeah.
And then limit your coffee intake.
Just more water, you know, after you have the coffee, then have more water, because it will take that down. It will take down the acidity in your body on that kind of thing. It's just the sodas; they're just really hard to overcome.
Just drink 32 more glasses.
That's what I tell people.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
All
2
you
more
gotta do is
gallons.
drink
Yeah.
32 more glasses after your
32.
Dr.
Yeah.
Paul, after your refreshing sparkling water, then you can just have 32 glasses of wine. You're good.
I'll need more than that.
So,
I needed to hear this talk again.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've heard it.
So this is what I was telling you before, like everything that you can just imagine, everything that you can do with all the different waters. There's, I mean, just look at the list right there. Floors, the bathrooms, kitchens, you know, anything that you can think of to clean. We cleaned our deck with 11.5 water. Didn't have to use that chemical that you had to put a hazmat suit on to use, you know?
Yeah.
And that like cost probably cost $40 now, everything's doubled. A container, you know, we didn't have to buy any of those. So it just takes that stuff right off of the
Right off the
decking.
deck, yeah.
Laundry, stain removal, flooring.
Now, in laundry, I'm wondering, do you have to have it in some kind of way to connect it to the?
No, you just pour it in there. 11.5 cleans so well that it's just an amazing how it emulsifies the oil. Well, that's what is in your clothes, dirt and oil.
So you're replacing what?
Yeah.
Placing your laundry.
Well, no.
Detergent? Your
Detergent.
detergent?
Oh,
You can replace
detergent.
your detergent.
Okay,
And if
not
you
not
want-
the water. That's why.
Right. You don't want to
I'm
replace
like,
the
how
water.
are you figure
How do you
that out?
replace the water?
Stuff.
Sounds
Yeah.
messy.
You can replace the detergent. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So how much 11.5 do you use when you're doing your laundry?
you about a quart or to 2 quarts. So I even I'll even put in this whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and then just make some more. But I usually have 2 or 3 of these going at one time because I use it a lot. Now, if you want your clothes to smell like laundry soap, then you put a couple drops of essential oil.
Mhm.
If you put a little bit of that on a cloth and put the 11.5, because you know how it's going to emulsify the oil,
Mhm.
so that way you won't have an oil blob. But anyway, that's what makes your scent then, if you want to do that. You can put the essential oils on there. So, but yeah, it's just a multitude of things you can do with your Kangan machine. You can just make all the different kinds of waters, and so it's money saving on every which way. But yeah, and then I can go over with you the different costs of the machines and everything, so you can tell the different prices. But we really thought that it was really high at the time. It was 12 years ago. But I can tell you that now we think it's the most inexpensive thing we've ever done for our health.
Mm.
Because that machine, I don't know if we would even got by on the co-pays and everything like that if Max would have had to go through with the surgery. So we feel like we have saved through the years of not having to do all the things. So, but anyway, the choice is yours. You can do $2 a day times 15 years. You're going to spend about $10,950 on bottled waters. They're even higher now. This is what we're doing to our planet with the bottling.
Mm-hmm.
So plastic waters can take up to 1,000 years to biodegrade. So this is I would have to print this out for you because it's not as big as it needs to be. But this is a cost comparison chart of how much the Kangan water is compared to the Dasani, Aquafina, Fiji, Evian. Those kind of, you see on the, like Evian, that did a little bit better on the test, didn't it? If you were to do the Evian, here's how much you would spend, $82,000 in 15 years for a family of 4. So it's super inexpensive compared to that. But people don't think about that because they're buying 1 case of water at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it all adds up. The other thing I wanted to mention before we wrap up here tonight is the 5-minute internet expert. So you can go and do all the research you want on alkaline ionized water, or would you trust the world-renowned doctors that they have, on board? So with Dr. Shinya leading the doctors on our team. So, but anyway,
I find that interesting that Barack Obama's current cardiologist recommends Kangan water.
there's a lot of stock celebrities too that have machines. So we could go on for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Letting you know
Michael
all
Jordan.
that. But anyway,
I know that Bill Gates bought one for each room of his house that had water coming
Yeah.
out of it.
Wow.
each wing.
Yeah.
So
He bought like 8 of them or something
Yeah.
like that.
So, but anyway, if your health is important, you'll find a way. If not, an excuse. So, but we think it literally is the best thing that we've done for our health. And as Dr. Paul will tell you, there's multiple things you have to do for your health to keep ahead of everything that's in an environment. So, the more you can do for your health, the better. So, is there any questions before we?
I have one. If you have a water softener in your house, does that make any significant danger, like any increased
Benefit?
ability to make the Kangan water better, or does it make it worse, or does it, what is,
I did
adding
experiment
salt to
with
the
that,
water?
yeah.
Yeah.
And does make everything more,
They recommend soft
Yeah.
water, but you
Yeah.
know, is it healthy?
yeah. You know, there's different opinions on that, so it's really hard to tell on that. But yes, it would be better for your machine and everything like that. But on the people that are on the border on like blood pressure and things like that, that can't have any additional sodium and that stuff, they said there's only enough sodium in the water as a slice of bread. That's what the water softener group will tell you.
Well, that could be quite a bit. You never
So,
know. Yeah.
right? And for some people who can't have any sodium. So
Yeah.
it kind of has to be a personal choice there. They really don't recommend that you hook it up to that. But, yeah. But anyway, that was a great question. So, and I'm going to stick around for questions afterwards too and get them up and clean up my mess here.
Would that be the same answer as far as like a purified water?
Like a reverse osmosis you're talking about?
Zero water?
Zero water?
Zero water. Zero water would be like, yeah, the reverse osmosis. No.
It's filters.
Filters, okay. So you can hook it up to anything that doesn't take the minerals out. Because if you hook it up to reverse osmosis, for instance, that there's nothing for the ionizer to split. There's no minerals left in the water. But on that, where they probably leave the minerals in the water. So we just have to test to see whether or not you have minerals in the water.
Well, it comes with a tester, so you can test to see, and it tests zero. Of course, what is the tester testing?
Right. So is zero water reverse, kind of like
I don't know.
reverse osmosis? Does it take out the minerals? So that's the question you need to ask. Because then you would have to bypass that, the filtration system, and then just tap into a cold water line anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, because chances are you don't filter the whole house.
You're gonna have leakage. Yeah.
But if you do filter the whole house, then there's ways around it. I have people who could run a separate line for you.
There's a
It's
filter
kind
that goes in the water from the refrigerator.
Yeah, see, just like that. You have a separate line that goes in the refrigerator, so you can have a separate line going into, your sink. Yeah, so makes it really easy to hook up. As you can see in there, how the machine is hooked up is just right to the faucet. There are possibilities of putting a separate faucet on there
Direct line.
too, so it can make it a little cleaner looking that way to have a separate faucet. So, yeah. Is there anything I missed, Dr. Paul?
No, I think you covered all of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight on such a toasty night. So, and then I'll answer any questions individual if you would like. And
Are you gonna tell us a range of